There are many decisions that need to be made before ever starting to build a website. You need to first plan it out, decide who the target audience is and who you're building the site for and what the purpose of the site is. And then you need to actually design the site by creating something called a sitemap and to create some wireframes or mock-ups of the pages as well. This helps so that the client knows what they're getting and so that you're not wasting your time and having to rebuild multiple sites. So on one of the sites that I built for a client, the client gave me basically this drawing right here that kind of showed where the logo went and the navigation and the basic elements, which helped. And then they gave me some other examples of competitor sites they wanted things built around. And so I went ahead and created a mock-up that looked like this for the basic page layout of the site. And the client came back and said, I like it, I want to make a few changes, and they gave the changes to me, and then I revised the site slightly, and that's how the process goes. And once the decision's made, then you can start building the site, and then you have less revisions to make. So a sitemap is basically just a bunch of objects or boxes that show how the navigation of your site is connected. So here, for example, we've got a home page, and from that home page you can get to the About page, the Portfolio, the Contact, and the Register pages. If you go to Portfolio, then you can go to 4 other sub-pages for just graphics or photo, video, or web, things like that. So it shows the flow of your website. Mock-ups are basically a picture or a layout of the page of each site. So for example, maybe this is the home page of the site, and it shows basically where the navigation goes, the main elements like this video, these graphs, but it shows what the page is actually going to look like. So we're going to create those in a program called Adobe XD. So when you're in XD, it will give you some preset sizes for phones or iPads or web. This is going to be a website. So you can go ahead and click on that website. You can also get other sizes if you would like, but this 1920 by 1080 is, or 1920 by 1080 is exactly what we want. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and it's going to open it up. Now from there, this is our main canvas. You can zoom in and out by holding down Control on your keyboard and rolling with your mouse. That's the quick way. There's also a zoom tool over here you can use. But from there, you've got just a bunch of basic shapes. So to create a wireframe, we could just go ahead and click on this box, drag it out, type in something like home with the text tool. And you see that's pretty small, but we can select that. Once we have an object selected, you'll get the properties for that object over here on the right side. So let's make that a bit bigger, and maybe we will go ahead and hit Control B. I'm going to bold that as well, get that in the center, and you can see the guides come up to kind of help you make things look better, to center them and show you where you're at. I'm going to grab the box itself, and I'm going to leave the border on it. Maybe I'll increase the stroke size of the border slightly, and I'm also going to give it a different fill color. So you can just drag this around, find whatever color you'd like to use. I'll go with something darker, and I'll select my text. And for my text itself, I'll go with something like white. I can also quickly and easily round these things if I like to as well. So there we go. We've got a home page. From the home page, I'm going to go to an About page. Rather than recreate this whole thing, I'm going to hold down Alt and drag, and it makes a copy. Now if I want the whole thing, I need to select the whole thing. I can then hold Alt and drag, do the same thing a couple of times. So I'm going to have a 4-page site for this. And you can see it's got smart guides that are showing me how to line things up. And then on this page, it's going to be my About page. And then on this page, we'll have this be Portfolio. And on this page, we'll have this be a Contact page. And you can move those around and recenter them so they look a little better. So something like that. And then from there, you need to show how the navigation works or flows. You have a pen tool you could use. You've got this line tool you can use. Either one will work fine. But I'm going to just create a basic line that runs from one side to the other. I'm going to hold down Shift to keep it a straight line. So something like that's great with me. I'm going to change the size and make it a bit thicker. And then from there, it's just creating more lines. So I'm going to create a line from here. And I'm just showing how each of these is connected. I'm going to take that little piece of that line, hold down Alt, drag it over, hold Shift, keep it in place. So there's the next line, let go, hold Alt, click, drag it over. So I'm just copying these lines to make it faster. And then lastly, I'm going to grab this piece and connect it as well. And then I can just stretch it out. All right, so we've got a basic sitemap that shows, hey, all of these pages are connected. You can get to each one from all of them. And that's a very, very basic version of a sitemap. So I'm going to zoom out. And from there, if I click on the artboard right here, I can copy it and paste it and just hit Control-C, Control-V. Control-Z will undo. Or I can hold Alt and click on the size, and I can also drag a copy of it over somewhere. So I'm going to now go ahead and create my wireframe or my mock-up for the page itself. So you're going to do the same basic thing. You're going to think about the layout that you want on your page and just start building. So maybe I want a nice big header up top, and I'm going to change that to a different color. Take the border off, so there's no border. You can change the transparency, you can add shadows and things like that as well. We're going to add text here. And just like before, it should give you smart guides that help you line things up nicely. You can change the size, you can change the font family, all those types of things. And you want it to look as close as it's actually going to look when you build your site. So there's several different types of fonts and different things you can use that live inside of here. If you want to change your font easily, you can also just click in one of the font families, and you can then just use your mouse if you've selected it, and you can just scroll through all of the different types until you find one that you like, and then you can use that. So from there, let's create some navigation. I know that this is 1920. If I click on this, it tells me it's 1920. Right, there's the dimensions. So I know I'm going to have 4 navigation buttons. I want mine to span the whole page in this case. So I'm going to actually use a calculator so I can figure that out. So I'm going to put in 1920 because that's my width. I'm going to have 4 buttons, so I'll divide it by 4. Each one should be 48 wide. So I'm going to grab one of these, the rectangle tool, and then I'm going to come up here and type in 480. So I know it's exactly the right width. I'm going to turn off the border. I'm going to go ahead and change my fill color to something else. And then go ahead and type in whatever my navigation is. And then you can go in and change that as well. So something like that. And then I'm going to just take that thing and I can group it together. I can select both pieces. I can right click and I can group it, which I'm going to do now. And then I'm going to go ahead and just hold Alt, and I'm going to drag that thing over until I've got 4 of those stacked across, and they should fit perfectly. And then I can come back in and change the font or whatever it says. Now you'll notice since I have grouped these, they're not actually perfectly centered. So, I could come back in if I needed to. I could ungroup them, take both pieces, And up here on the top, you have some alignment tools. Right, that's going to center it. So ungroup this one as well. And take both those pieces. You can center these that way also. So just get a basic navigation out there. And then just continue to design. So you can put in your basic elements. Maybe you're going to have a picture here, maybe some text here. Whatever it is, go ahead and put those basic things in. You can bring in pictures from the outside. You can click this little menu button and you can import pictures that you can bring in so it looks correct. And just to show you how it works after this, so design it, make it look however you want it to. All right, you can change the whole background color by clicking here and clicking on the fill. But just to show you quickly, I'm going to have this be my home page. It'll be white. And I'm going to take and hold down Alt. I'm going to make a second copy. So this will be my About page. And on the About page, let's make the fill, just so you can see this. We'll make the fill a different color. And let's put on some text just so you can see this visually. So this will be the home page. And then I'm going to take that same piece, I'm going to just duplicate it, bring it down here. And this will be my About page. So I've got those two pages. Once you've got your 4 pages and then with their different layouts, here's how you'll connect them. So if we go to the home page, I can take and go to Prototype right here. And from Prototype, if I select an item like a button, for example, it'll give me this little arrow, and I can say, okay, when I click the home button, where do you want to go? Well, that would be, to this one, so we don't really need to do that one. When I click the About button, I would like to go down to the About page. All right, it's going to take me down to this page. When I click the Home button, I want it to go to this page. So you can see that those interactions show where they're going to go when you click on that specific button. And you'll do the same thing for the other pages so that all of those pages link together. Once you've got all of your links functional and working, you can then hit the play button right here. And from there, right, if I'm on the About page, you can see I can click the Home button, takes me to the home page. About button will take me to the About page. So it's like a functional web layout that shows you how things work and what things will look like before you start building. When you are finished, save it. Normally you can do save as, or you can even hit up here on this little arrow. That'll work as well. Give it a name. And then from there, we're going to do a save as, and you're going to go to your computer. Go ahead and click the folder right here to tell it where to go to. In my case, that would be my desktop. And then you're going to save that and you're going to turn that in when you're finished.